There we go. So here we are again. Um, we are now once again doing a deep dive here into Forge of Darkness, book one of the Carcanus trilogy by Stephen Erikson, and we are now up to chapter 6. Uh, this is the beginning of part 2 in the book. See, part 2. Yeah. It's called this. No, the solitude of this fire. What does that mean? I'm not sure. But um, this chapter here, chapter 6, starts off with we're starting off with some traveling and some arrivals, um, and so it's a little bit of a setup chapter, I think, for this next book, for this next part of the book. Anyways, we start out with Hust Henerold, who is um, a forger of swords, and because this guy Caloras is here on behalf of Animander Rake to ask him to forge a sword for him, for Animander, and this guy is the best. So, and this guy, he keeps telling Caloras that one day I will be a child again. Carved toys will caper and dance from my mind out across the rock. And he's talking about being a child again, and so and he's talking about toys, and so it's interesting because this kind of contrasts the earlier section with the hostage of the jagged hot, um, who was playing with dolls and then put them away and then no longer plays with them. So that's an interesting contrast. Yeah, getting old, you play with dolls, and while you're young, you play with toys. And so yeah, and he's like I have spoken. I was speaking of all that we lose as the years crawl over us in the past, our youth falls away. So that's this guy, this Hust Lord. Um, he has this real he has this this set idea about when he gets older he's going to be a child again. He's kind of focused on that, and of course, the poor guy, this guy Caloras, who's just doing his job, um, and he's just telling him, um, what his Lord wants, and this guy, this Lord of the Hust Forge, he says. He says, "Your master seeks a blade devoid of chaos. Such a thing cannot be achieved, and the life I have spent is proof of that." Because he wants, Rake wants a sword, one of these Hust swords that's not gonna be screaming all the time. So that's hard to do. Um, and somehow, um, we find out that this guy, the Lord of Hust Forge, made a scepter from Mother Dark that now possesses something of the soul of Corral to Ghislaine. She has imbued it with sorcery. She has taken pure but plain iron and made it unnatural. What does that mean? It embodies darkness in some manner few of us understand. And he's kind of curious whether Mother Dark is fully aware of what she has done. And this kind of thing makes Caloras a little uneasy. He's just a poor messenger. This poor guy. Anyway, so that's just some interesting information that this guy can make these swords, and what Rake is asking for. And he compares, he says stuff like, "Can there be those that hold the most power also know the greatest fear?" Um, because as fear grows, as power grows, so does fear. And yeah, they talk about the where Mother Dark is getting her power from. Um, and they argue about, she's not as Athane, so they're curious about that. That's not blood magic, and so they don't know where this darkness power comes from. Um, anyways, Kelleras finally gets this agreement, and he leaves. He talks to Taurus Redone, the and and they let's see here. Who was let's see here. Yes, and the soldier he talks to afterwards uh, asked him if their lord of the master Smith there says if he talks about child being a child again, and of course, so this is something that he did often and that everybody's aware of. So, anyways, so Kelleras, and they move along here over the past 3 days. Let's see. Yes. Then we get to our artist friend Cataspala, who I just find a fascinating fellow here. This artist, he's doing his painting of Urisander, and this is the famous general, commander of the Legion, and the guy who was responsible for the wars against the Jellic and the Forukan, and he's the hero, the war hero, and all that stuff. And he is the one who is people want to see marrying Mother Dark, because Mother Dark should be properly married. Damn it. Okay. Anyways, that's what these people think. Anyways, the he says, "I have painted a man worthy of being her husband." All right, this is what he's painted. This is what he's put on the canvas, And he says stuff like, "My power is vast. Um, there is but one God, and its name is beauty. There is but one kind of worship, and that is love. There is for us but one world, and we have scarred it beyond recognition." Uh, yeah, that's art is the language of the tormented, but the world is blind to that, forever blind. Yeah, so he's talking about this, the soul of the artist, what an artist is worshiping, what they crave, what they you know, what he is thinking about. Um, and one thing he says that's interesting here is the artist is usually poorly disguised in his works, revealed in each and every flaw of execution. Um, and so that's an interesting line. And so that's what is, what such flaws of execution, and what poorly disguised things are we seeing of Erikson in his works? That's like the artist asking himself the question through his art. Um, that's pretty interesting. I like that. And then we go back to Krill, who's the once again this hostage team comes up, and he is the one who is whose hostagery will end once Can't remember her name. Will marry the woman who's going to marry one of the brothers of Amanda Rake, Andrus. That's it. That's his name. So he's out there. He's roaming around by himself. Krill Durav, hostage to House Ennis, and so he meets up with Captain Skara Bandaris, and of course, we should be familiar with a version of that name from even from like Midnight Tides and stuff like that. He was mentioned as a person who betrayed somebody somewhere. Um, and so they meet up, and he offers to escort them back to the the estate, out in the wilds there. And let's see, they um, they have some hostages of their own, some angelic children, I guess, and they're worried about them being biting back. They're worried about them being turning into wolves or hounds, they say, which is interesting. The distinction between hounds and wolves, and this tradition of hostage taking so venerated and inviolate may well come back to bite us. Yeah. So, can you train hounds that are hostages? Mm. Anywho, let's see. We get yes, it's Anesdia who is the one who's marrying Andrist, and we move on to her, and um, she she is like she's mad that Krill's been gone all this time. She misses him. Um, she doesn't realize that he's gone because of her, and because he's going to lose her, and he doesn't want to face that pain. And she's worried about what's going to become of him, and so something happened here. That here's a thing. That she's in the garden. She walked to the nearest tree, reached out, and took hold of a globe of fruit, soft, ripe. She twisted it loose. See, no risk of shattering, nothing like that at all. She felt something wet trickling down her hand. Gentle as she had been, the skin had split. Oh, now I am stained. Um, that paragraph right there really stood out to me because I think I know what's coming, and it scares the heck out of me. Um, this is a tragedy. This story, and I have a feeling something bad is going to happen. This is the second time I read it, so I know something bad is going to happen, but I wasn't sure who was happening to. But now, this pure symbolism right there um, is I think the bad thing that's going to happen. It's foreshadowing some evil stuff coming up, and yeah, I'm kind of scared to get there actually because it wasn't very pleasant from what I remember. Um, anyway, sorry about people reading this the first time. I might have just given something away, but but that is why we're rereading these things so we can find things like that and go, oh man, if I would have paid more attention the first time I read that, I might have known that that was that symbol that something bad is going to happen to her. Um, yeah, wow. We move on to Rennick and Orphantal, and this kid Rennick, he is getting Orphantal ready for a journey. Orphantal is going to be a hostage himself. He's the highborn kid who was born, I think, out of wedlock, but he's being taken in by somebody. I forget who. And this guy Rennick is just a stable boy who used to play with this kid. Um, and but he's now very cold towards him, very cool, and he's getting him ready, and he sends him off. When after he leaves Rennick, of course, that's when he starts crying, and lets it show, and that was pretty sad. Um, and so that's the beginning of a new journey for this kid. And then let's see here. Oh, there's an interesting sentence. Let's see, Orphan Tale. Ah, yes. So these soldiers escorting Orphantown, um, the poor kids calling him sir, and they're telling him, "Don't call us sir. We're your servants." It's interesting that this distinction between highborn and low is really really being enforced and pointed out. Um, and and Orphantal is pointing out that stones are left on the side of the road, um, to make travel, the path easier to travel, and they're left in small heaps to one side because everyone knew that death was a restless place. um, and of course, that has a lot of meaning in the Malazan world, in these worlds. You know, as you've read the Book of the Fallen, right? You have, and so you know that death is, yeah, a very restless place, indeed. Um, let's see here. Ah, interesting fact. Um, my name is Orphantal. Yes, and so one of the soldiers says, "Oh, that's Yadan dialect, the monks' holy language, Sheikh. It's called." Of course, we remember the Sheikh, right? That they're from. We read a lot about them towards the end of the Book of the Fallen, and they're the ones who defended Karkinis way at the end of the Book of the Fallen. Um, and it's interesting because the Orphan Tale's name, the meaning of his name is debated. One of them is kind of like obscure, unexpected, or something like that. So that was interesting stuff there. Um, as these soldiers, are they talking out of turn to this kid? Are they, that's a lot for a kid like that young to take on. So you gotta wonder. All right. So let's see. Ah, then Ivis, is it Ivis? Captain Ivis, who's escorting. Oh, what's her name? Another hostage here. I think it was, yeah, Sandalath, uh, who I think is Orphan Tal's mother, I believe. But Sandalath is going to live with the Draken's hold. Lord Draconis' place. That's where she's going to live as a hostage. Um, and so let's see here. Oh, and she asked where Draconis came from. And Captain Ivis says, "We are not certain. Chosen as heir by Lady Drakens, a cousin. A cousin," she said. In any case, really? Uh, and then, he goes on to say he served well in the wars and well enough to earn the regard of Mother Dark. And that's interesting. But so there's a little mystery there. Like, where'd this guy come from? She just said he's some cousin. Okay, not very informative there. Yes. So Sandalath gets there, and she immediately puts her foot down. About like she's like, Draconis isn't here. You're gonna do what I say, servants. I'm in charge. It's like she establishes her dominance right away, and once again, that distinction between nobleborn and lowborn is very, very strong. And this, I think it's important that that keeps getting pointed out. And she, as a hostage, Sandaleth, she is now a hostage again. And I'm sorry about the blinking light. That thing's dying. I'm gonna have to change on a bulb or something. Anyways, uh, she is the last one of the last things she says is every day the world is born anew. Um, and I think she has some high hopes for her new situation as a hostage at Draken's Hold. Um, so a few things set up in this new section. Nothing too exciting happened in this chapter, but some interesting observations and stuff like that. So we'll see. This is it is the beginning of a new part, a new section in here. So that is chapter 6 and about 32 pages. So, and we'll see how far we get this week with chapter 7. But until then, be good to each other, and thank you for watching. If you're following along with this very slow read, um, or if you're just checking in because you've read the book before, and what have you. But that's all good. Appreciate it. Be good to each other, and thank you.